Hi Claire, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Vidhi.
Claire, why don't you tell us something about your journey into yoga and the very fact that we are sitting here in England right now at your studio called I Am the Storm Yoga. Let's just start with how did you get into yoga?
Okay, so
A brief.
so I actually have a background in policing. I was Metropolitan Police Officer for 17 years in London, and it was really, really full on. It was, a pretty exhausting career at times. There's very little work-life balance. I was working in domestic violence, and I needed something to ground myself to. I was just really struggling. So I stepped into a yoga studio for the first time. I didn't have a clue. They were saying all kind of weird words, and I just couldn't even sit cross-legged. I had so much pain and trauma in my body that was probably everyone else's stuff that I was dealing with. It was a seed that wasn't very well watered in the beginning video. I kind of just every now and then would pop to a class. And I was really, really inflexible in the mind and in the body then. And it just became something that slowly, as life progressed, was this tiny seed that got a little bit more watered. It was the bare minimum that got watered and watered and watered, and it's just bloomed into my entire life now, and it's been an incredible journey.
All right. And how did you come from that first class that you said you had while you were a police officer to starting this whole studio space? I Am the Storm Yoga.
It's been a really big story. Basically, I was very disconnected from my body after being in the police for so long. I was very much in masculine energy, and I worked with. I also had some life events where I couldn't have children, so that really sent me into quite a rock bottom place. And instead of, going to the doctors or going to pills, psychiatrists, I looked at different ways to see how I could reconnect. Someone recommended going on a yoga teacher training course, which I did. And basically that really grounded me back into myself, and it's put me on a path. So prior to that course, I met with someone who said to me, "What are you going to do with your teacher training?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." And I was on a retreat for overcoming self-limiting beliefs, and she was like, "What are you going to do with this yoga teacher?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm too old. I'm too fat. I'm too this, too that." Just listed off all these limiting beliefs, right? So she said to me, "Claire, you need to get your place you're going to teach, and you need to name your group, and you need to do that before you go on your teacher training." And I thought she was crazy, Vidhi, right? I was like, absolutely not going to do that. Anyway, by the end of the week, with this incredible coach that I was working with, I decided to do that. Halfway through my teacher training in Greece, my first class in a village hall was booked, fully booked. And I came home, did that, thought I was the worst teacher, loads of imposter syndrome in that first class. But things built from there. I ended up by chance, nothing's by chance though, I ended up coming to the mill here, which is just the most beautiful building, and met Michelle, who's the miller, asked her if there was any space to do a class, and she brought me up to this incredible space and said I could use the whole floor. So she gifted me a studio, and the first year was really hard. We didn't have any marketing. No one knew we were here. Most of the time I'd sit here and no one would come. I'd be waiting for literally a car to hear a car on the gravel going, "Please, someone come." And there were times when I really doubted this path and this journey. I didn't even really need to do it. And I was like, what am I doing? But there was something inside me that knew this was a journey that I needed to go on. And it's just become such a beautiful thing. We're doing work across charities now. We're working with victims of domestic violence in their refuge. We're supporting dog rescue charities. We're working with a charity in Fakenham called First Focus that really deals with vulnerable people in the community. And we've brought in a collective, we've brought in a team. We're all about collaborating. So it's been really interesting how people have come from commercial studios and have found the way we're operating to be very different. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with commercial studios, but we've definitely got a different energy here at I Am the Storm, and it's a beautiful journey.
So one of the things I remember when I entered your studio for the first time, I saw this poster, somebody told her not to go into the storm, and then she kind of turned around and she said, I am the storm.
Yeah.
So what's your inspiration behind this name?
Yeah, so there definitely is a story behind this. It came to me and I thought, it sounds quite shamanic, it sounds quite strong, and I know that I have always been quite a strong woman. However, there's times that the world can just whirl around you and take you away from your power. So I found the phrase that you're saying about is you can't withstand the storm, and she says I am the storm. But I was also on holiday. I like to travel, and I was on holiday in Zanzibar. I was walking along the beach and I was talking about naming this group, not sure whether it was the right kind of name for the group, and I literally walked across the beach and there was a beautiful old ramshackled sailing boat with a sail. It was so beautiful. It was a really, really rustic fishing boat, and I was really drawn to it, and I walked over to it, and the name, I've got a picture of it, the name on the side of the boat was I Am the Storm. So I kind of felt like that was confirmed that that's what I should be calling it. It was quite a story.
So did you come across the poster first, or did you come across the boat?
I came across the poster, and then while I was umming and ahhing if it was going to be, because I know we sound a bit different, and some people have said that puts me off because it sounds like this super strong thing, and obviously you need strength in life, right? But we're actually way different to what maybe the name would suggest, and I think that's part of the journey, that the duality of it as well, the duality of the storm and the calm, and life is all about duality. So
I think I quite like the name simply because I think yoga is all about connecting to the universe, and once you start understanding how much you can expand, then from being somebody who's running away from the storm, you can actually realize that you are the storm. So
definitely.
It's a very powerful transition. So I don't think, of course, the first sound of it sounds a little aggressive, but on the other hand, when you understand that you're also expanding, and in this expansion of the mind and the body, you slowly start having these trickles of paranormal, supernormal sometimes, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. I thought of Jane, and Jane immediately messaged me, or I thought of David and he called me immediately. People don't realize how much yoga can really help you expand your mental and physical boundaries, and from that perspective it's great.
We have no concept of just how powerful the mind is, and over the years now that I've been working with people and in some really beautiful therapeutic settings, the power to heal is incredible, and it is enhanced by the powers of yoga, and we are only just starting to tap into the surface of that, and it's really exciting. I think we're on a really exciting journey as to the potential of what yoga therapy can start to tap into.
No, I definitely agree. Do you want to also talk about how or what am I doing in this space? I'm from India. I do travel around the world, but...
Well, obviously I met you, Vidhi, in Goa, and like I said, we've been on quite a journey together after the chakra healing. There's been a lot of things in my life that have really needed to shift and change, and it was all, working with you was all about healing the root, healing childhood trauma, healing even when we think that we've had good childhoods or that our basic needs were met. Everybody has got something in their childhood that would have made them the way they are, the way we condition, the way we see the world, the way we show up, how we behave in our relationships. All of this is conditioned from the childhood, and you've taken me on the journey to really look into that. So after the chakra healing, I did a long session with you, which was almost like a full day's counselling, which was epic, like my whole life story in a day. I love a chat, but even for me, I was like, wow. But you just held that space, and from that you put together this beautiful plan that wasn't easy, and is still not easy, but we came away with some mirror work, positive self-talk. I healed a massive rift with my adopted sister through a family dynamic that we hadn't spoken for basically most of our lives. It's a very interesting story. Healed things with my parents, and it's never easy to walk a spiritual path. People think that this is like you're just some zened out person all the time. You're not. You're here because you deal with difficult emotions. You do have anger, you do have shame, you do have guilt, you have all of it. And it's having the capacity to hold space for all of that, not trying to be like, I'm better than anyone else. It's not about that. It's about digging in to your pain. And this is the next leg from you. From that, I came on your retreat, and you teach this beautiful style of meditation that is all about sitting with your pain. And I can honestly say it's one of the most challenging things that I've done in my life. I'm a busy person with a busy mind. If you'd have told me that I'd sit in meditation for 6 hours, I'd have laughed my head off at you. Like, I would have said, no way. But it's really now the way my yoga journey is going. I'm really moving more into the meditation and realise how much stillness, as to coin my lovely teacher Jane, the stillness in the eye of the storm, that is what you come to with meditation. So, and it really is a beautiful thing to start to realise that we are solely responsible for ourselves, and that basically everything that swirls and whirls around us is not ours to hold. We can only deal with ourselves. If we can deal with ourselves, heal our root, look at our trauma, look at our pain, then we have more successful chance of a joyous, blissful, contented life with good relationships and good friendships and better boundaries, less people pleasing. All of this comes with this gorgeous yoga journey. It's just absolutely, it blows my mind. It's incredible.
And can you also walk us through what happened in the last 1 week that I've been here?
So we met. I've started a yoga therapist course in London, and by pure coincidence, you happened to be in London at the same time. So we went and had a lovely thali in Battersea, which was beautiful, thali, very nice, and had a really lovely connection and chat again because I've not seen you for a while. And then you just went, I'm going to come to Norfolk, Clare. Me, a lover of the random, I was like, absolutely, let's do this. And it's worked out really nicely because there's space in the studio for things just to come in, and this is how we want to run it. We're not going to be this really tight schedule because we want to be open to the flow of what comes in. You've come in, and we've had some people who've had just the most beautiful opportunity to work with you, really sparked some curiosity in people. I think you're going to take quite a few people on some journeys now, Vidhi. And basically we had a beautiful summer solstice offering as well, and everybody who's worked with you, they're beaming. They've just had the loveliest time. They don't know what's to come yet in that meditation, mind you, but you're opening doors for people, and this is what we need, because the way that people heal in this society needs changing, and yoga therapy is really the way forward. It's throwing the rule book out the window on our healing journey and basically allowing ourselves to really just find our way, and everything's so unique to every individual, and that's the magic of it.
That's nice. That's really beautifully put in terms of what you're sharing with people, and also in terms of where are you focusing your journey going forward. Because as far as I've seen, and I've gone around the world quite a bit, there's a huge focus on, let me show you how to do handstand, headstand. There is this headstand workshop, handstand workshop. Let me do this kind of yoga or that kind of yoga, without understanding that at the end of the day, yoga is all about bringing your awareness inwards. Till the time we cannot learn to deal with our mind, the postures are just a step into that direction. They do not signify the direction. They are not the direction.
No,
there's just a little step.
Deeper.
So from that perspective, I'm really amazed, and with everyone that I've met here, this whole attempt to work with people who yet do not know that they need to work with themselves, and then keeping that space open for them, I think it's really, really beautiful.
Thank you for that.
Are there any questions that you would like to ask?
So, what do you do away from yoga?
Well, I travel the world mostly.
Okay, cool, nice.
Because teaching, healing, helping people grow out of their boundaries, helping people grow out of their limitations and their self-limiting beliefs, that's something that really turns me on. And when I left the corporate sector, to be able to do that along with traveling, this is something that was kind of a dream that I didn't even know I had a dream like that, because the society I come from, if you were to do yoga, vis-a-vis if you were to be an engineer or a doctor, is supposed to be looked very differently. You're supposed to be very poor. You're supposed to be in a life of complete service where probably you do not know where food is coming from. And for me, it was not just about yoga as much as it was about sharing and helping people grow. And of course, in the beginning of this journey, it was also supporting myself through this process, because I come from a corporate world. I worked with Microsoft, I worked with Dell, I worked with some big companies, and coming from there to having a lot of money to absolutely having no money, to trying to share something so that you can just get by on a day-to-day basis, and then traveling to countries that are far, far stronger economically speaking, coming from India, So the first country I remember I jumped into was Norway, and it is such an expensive place, and to be able to find people to offer in terms of healing, in terms of classes, in terms of yoga, and then hoping that somebody's going to come or show up. But I think that's the beauty. The moment you're doing something that helps others, somehow the universe just keeps putting people on your path.
It's incredible, Vidhi. It's like an international offering, basically, because we've all got the same root problems. They're just all packaged slightly differently, right? And we keep this, we think we're all so different, so we keep all these parts hidden of ourselves, but actually they're the things that people love about us the most when we open up and we're vulnerable, right?
Yes.
So tell me something that no one would know about you. Tell me something that, like, something random, something, I don't know, like, give us something that is really off the wall about you.
Well, I've been in a Hollywood movie called Eat, Pray, Love as an extra.
You were in Eat, Pray, Love?
As an extra, yes, totally.
That's like my favourite film. I'm obsessed with that film. I want to go to Bali.
I think the book is much better, but if you watch the film again, you can...
So what part did you play in that?
I didn't play any part. I was just an extra, because it's the part where Julia Roberts comes into India and she goes into an ashram. The first thing she does is her taxi stops in front of an ashram. She goes inside the ashram and you'll see people clapping like this. And somewhere, if you dig down deep into the scene, and probably you're watching this on a projector, you'll see me right there, a much younger version of me doing this.
Amazing. Well, you've gone up even more in my estimations now. I need your autograph.
Yes.
It's lovely, really.
And then I had the opportunity of seeing Julia in person, at least I could just touch her, but I never touched her.
But she's very magnetic.
Very magnetic. I mean, more magnetic than what she looks on the screen. She looks in real life. So it was quite an amazing experience.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
There's a fair few strings to your bow. So where are you off to next? Because you're going to come back to us, aren't you, from the 19th of August? We're going to hopefully do more work now, going together, forwards together.
So right now, I'm going to be heading more towards in the direction of London, and then I'll be heading to Colombia. And hopefully, I also have kind of people that I've worked with in Colombia. So hopefully, first I'll be going to Cartagena, then Santa Marta, then Medellin, then Bogota. And then after spending a month in Colombia, I'll be heading to Peru. And then a few weeks in Peru, and then I'll be heading to Chile.
Sounds awful, Vidhi.
Yes, I know. It's quite a tiring journey sometimes, but I think this is a childhood dream of mine, to be able to reach out to different parts of the world, to be able to meet people. And I think the most incredible part is that no matter where I go in the world, whether it's a white person, brown person, black person, we all deal with the same challenges on a daily basis. We have these limiting self-beliefs where we really feel that the world is coming down upon us and there is nothing to help us. And I think somewhere, only if we were to take out a little bit of time to self-reflect, go deeper inside a biological body, you'll realize there is this power that I realized for me was the idea of Buddha. Buddha is not a person for me. Buddha is an enlightened, understanding that all of us embody. And this is why the organization, when we named the organization, we called it Awaken Inner Buddha. It was not about chasing Buddha. It's not about praying to Buddha. It's about bringing the practices of Buddha in combination with Hatha Yoga to awaken that super consciousness within yourself, that whenever you are in trouble, all you need to do is you close your eyes, you go deep inside, And there is this guiding spirit that always guides us.
I think, Vidhi, for me this week, I mean, it's just beautiful what you've said, but this week you said to me, Claire, just get still. Just be so still, just be so in your peace, and just let things dance around you, and that you can just have this energy that's not yours, just swirling and whirling around you. And that can be anything, that can be absolute, can be the worst, you know. And it's interesting, it takes me back to being in the police as well, that the most calmest, excellent police officers would be the one that would step into carnage and everything would slow down because they would get so still. And they would slow the whole event down by the calmness of themselves in that situation. And it's exactly the same as what you're saying. We can do that in life. We just have to connect back to this beautiful life force, breath, your meditation, to really find this inner stillness. And from that, we're going to be grounded and set up for life. It's a journey,
yes,
but it's one worth taking.
Yes.
It's been incredible to have you here. It's been a real full circle for me from meeting you, and the life path changes that I've had through working with you, I'll be forever grateful for. And just to have you here working in this space and seeing you touch the lives of other yogis that are here practicing is incredibly.
Thank you so much. I had a great time. The kind of people that I met, like everybody was so open and so curious. And even though, you know, I realized that you guys do shorter classes, for example, but then when I chose to do a 3 times more long class, you know, almost a 3-hour, 15-minute class, I was amazed how many people didn't even look at their watch or didn't bother about, hey, what's the time? and by the time we were done with a 3-hour, 15-minute class, everybody was still in the space.
Yeah.
Even though they were trying to leave the room, collect the shoes, but they were still coming back and asking questions, and they were really kind of touched by this experience of trying to go deep inside and understanding every, you know, small things that I was talking about. So that openness was very surprising for me.
We've got a deep need in society to come inwards. You know, the world is in a really tricky place. There's some interesting leaders out there at the moment. And, you know, for me, again, coming back to this dialogue about working together as a male and a female, it's really lovely balancing that masculine and feminine energy together. It's a really safe place. It's where we need to be going forward, for relationships to be good in this world, for us to heal, for generational trauma to be less handed down the line. It's a really, really big, important thing to keep doing this work. And I just thank you for everything you do. You're incredible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your space, and for all your teachers and everybody who came.
You're welcome here anytime.
Yeah. We'll see you. Thank you.